In about 30 seconds, that horizon is gonna turn black as the most dangerous killing machines in the universe rise up over it. I can tell you ain't the type of lad that fancies being important or valuable, but you don't get to decide that. You and my pilot are the most important Marines we have, and right now, get your ass out of here. Go!
Hey everyone, Sundowner here, welcome back to Aliens Colonial Marines. This is part 9, and the last part's coming up after this. Thank God for that. So I wanted to clear something up that I said in the previous update, or one of them. I was harping on the fact that Weyland-Yutani and the 4th film, Alien Resurrection, were bringing Ripley back and trying to get back at the Xenomorphs or whatever. It actually turns out I was wrong, and I attribute that only to the fact that I haven't watched Alien Resurrection in probably 8 to 10 years. It's been that long. I really don't like that film, so I have no desires to go back and fact check everything I say. But I guess it's more like a Marine thing. Like, by that time, Weyland-Yutani had been purchased by, of all companies, Walmart in the Aliens lore. So yeah, but even still, that further makes the fact that Weyland-Yutani are doing this now even more just wacky and out of alignment with the lore or whatever. It just seems unnatural that Weyland-Yutani, for all their failings and all their inability to do anything productive, they suddenly have just copious amounts of people to turn into xenomorphs, and even more so that there are xenomorphs that don't resemble any sort of being that may have been on Hadley's Hope between either movies, like one of the huge bull-like aliens, which is obviously just an excuse to have variety in the quote-unquote boss fights, but you would think they want to keep in with the lore. All these xenomorphs, they look relatively normal. I mean, some of them have the acid spitting thing, some of them are the blind ones in one of the previous updates. I'm not entirely sure how they come to be. I don't know, maybe the Queen selects a certain amount of aliens to be born as acid spitters, like that right there. Maybe some get born as the blind exploding ones, who knows. I'm sure someone does. I'm sure there's books and comics and things that I haven't read that explain this stuff, but regardless, it's such a basic fact that the being that has been face-hugged or impregnated by one of the xenomorphs is the basis for the form of the xenomorph that comes of it. So when you get the huge bull-like ones, or like elephants or whatever the hell, it's just weird and doesn't make sense. The fact that there's a queen, I mean, I guess that's okay enough, because I'm pretty sure from the end of Alien to Aliens, that was more or less the explanation for, like, hey, that one that died didn't actually die, so now it's here. But I figured I would clarify that for anyone who cares, and I'm not sure many do, because, well, it's this game. In other news, there was a DLC release for this game called Stasis Interrupted that more or less, or at least attempts to explain the story of Hicks and how he came to survive by the time this game was out. I haven't played it. I've read some things about it, and I unfortunately I do want to play it because I'm doing the LP, and just because in general I'm interested to see any which way the Aliens franchise can be turned into games or any other kind of media. I do want to play it, but I don't have the season pass, and I don't really intend to spend the money on it, so I don't know. Maybe when it goes on sale one day I'll grab that and play it. And regardless, I couldn't even incorporate it into this LP because of the 3-month rule, so it doesn't really make a difference either way in terms of this LP, unless 3 months down the line I come back and finish that off for the thread if it's still alive. Regardless, it's out there if anyone's interested, and apparently does a really shoddy job of explaining why Hicks is still alive and how I don't know if it features Newt. Newt, as far as the 3rd film is concerned, was completely eradicated, as was Hicks, of course, but as far as I know, it only explains the story of Hicks. Perhaps somewhere in there Hicks actually explains what happened to her, where she went, if she's even still alive. Maybe she did die, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know she was considered dead in 3, but I don't know if she's considered dead by the end of this game. Perhaps Hicks was the only one that escaped, and she actually did die as far as the 3rd film's concerned. Who knows? But that's not. Also, there's nothing, absolutely nothing of worth going on. Right now we just have to save a bunch of Marines who are going to inevitably die anyway. So I thought I would also bring up another really interesting point here from an article found on GameSpot.com. So the quote reads, "I think in movies, television and the gaming world you get some people that are really, really passionate and some people that are just going through the paces." Then he cites Sega and Gearbox think that because they have a brand name they're going to get a hit game or hit movie out of it. That certainly was the situation on Aliens Colonial Marines. Yeah, so according to Michael Biehn, who's the voice actor for Hicks and many other famous roles, and most recently for playing Rex Powercolt in Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which was fantastic as far as I'm concerned, for him to go on and say that it was completely passionless and that, and I quote, he said it wasn't fun at all, he just didn't have any fun. For him to say that is so depressing and so upsetting that someone so iconic in the franchise, even he realizes just how awful this thing is. So, I don't know, I thought it was worth mentioning because while it is sad, I also find it funny because such a prominent person in the franchise finds this to be terrible, even though he's unfortunately taking part in it, but I guess a job's a job. And that's enough blabbering about how bad this game is, because I'm sure we've had enough of that. Now we're getting to one of the frustrating parts of this level, and there's a whole two of them here. I mean, the whole thing's pretty frustrating, but this is one section that I feel really encompasses just how bad it can get when developers or directors or whatever just can't come up with anything creative or interesting. They just throw waves and waves of bad guys at you, in this case, of course, the xenomorphs. You have to fight, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 of them here, and they just keep coming. You get a turret, and you get one of those endless ammo supplies, and you have to just go to town on the xenomorphs, and it's not really hard. I mean, if you get hit down, you just respawn back at the beginning of the wave and do it again, so there's really absolutely no way you can fail this, and there's absolutely no reason to have it in the game either. But it's here, and it's not the last one we'll see in this update.
Above you! Above Check you! The walls! The vents! On the stairs! See those on the catwalk! Damn it, they're rushing my... See those on the catwalk! They're coming up through the tunnel!
Alright, now that we've dealt with the xenomorph threat, we can get out of this place and go and save the day, or just go and set up for another endless combat section. Actually, there's a boss fight coming up, and it's, well, really not that interesting. You're going to see exactly why in just a minute.
Keep reading the dropship. Is she still at Ops?
She's not here.
Sorry, sir?
I sent Reed with Hicks in an APC out of the colony. You did what?
So here we are, faced with what looks to be a pretty big arena. I wonder if that means there's going to be a pretty tough and varied boss fight where we have to utilize the whole space and then kill the thing with using our wits and pretty much everything else at our disposal. Let's wait and find out, see what happens. Yes. Yes, that is bugged out AI. Yes, it's just going to stand there. Actually, I end up getting myself killed because I am so flabbergasted by this, but, well, let's just say that's not the first time that happens either. Well, that was tough, I guess. Also, speaking of broken AI... Okay, we can move on now, guys. Are you gonna come with me, or... No? Maybe there's just a flag out here I need to cross over for them to start moving. Here? Nope. Maybe it's down here, I guess. Nope. Way down on the floor. No, practically in the next section of the map with the story. No. Whatever. I'm just gonna progress on, continue the story, and maybe they'll show up. But I mean, really, look how far I am from... Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
Someone to disconnect the fuel line.
Winner, you heard the lady. I got you, Raider.
And this section is extremely aggravating, to the point where I almost had to quit the game while recording just to get away from it for a few minutes. What you have to do is disengage the pipes, the fuel pumps from the aircraft so that it can take off. Sounds like a simple task, but it's really not, because you're continually pounded with waves of xenomorphs and they can attack you while you're doing it, which is fine, that's fair enough. They kind of take away your agency for a while and they just leave you standing there, and by the time you turn around, you're practically dead already. Now, originally, I had a little montage in here showing off the many times that I died trying to activate these things here, or disengage them. I just decided it's for the best to just not include that because it's so frustrating, but I'm sure you can imagine what it's like. Essentially, you pull 3 of them off, you get the thing and you get out of there, and that's really all you need to know about it.
Alright, this is Raider 6-5, all systems checked. Cover your ears. Showcase a plethora of sick dance moves, over.
Raider 6-5, got the go-ahead for landing on Drop Pad West. Cleared weapons hot on dance moves. Actual out.
Looks like you'll fit right in, you insubordinate son of a bitch.
You didn't specify which direction to drive the APC, sir.
So, how are you alive, if you don't mind too much my asking? What happened on Fury 161?
Guess we're skipping the softball questions. We left LV 426 and sent out a distress call. A call you all responded to. Near Fury, the ship went into alert, and I was pulled out of cryo as the ranking and only Marine. The ship was on alert because Michael Whalen's PMCs illegally boarded the ship. The 4 cryopods ejected safely, but I obviously wasn't in mine.
So, whose body was in your cryotube?
That's a longer story. I care about one thing, taking these guys down. That's all I got left, guys.
Let's get to it.
Floor is yours, sir.
We're all Colonial Marines here. I wake up in the morning thanking baby Jesus for every day I'm in the Corps. So I'm gonna be good goddamned if I let Weyland-Yutani take that away from me. Now, we don't have an FTL ship to get all of us back off planet. But they do. How long we got before the last boat comes in?
Comes in tonight. They're packing up for good. We take this ship or we don't leave. It's the only chance we're gonna get.
I have 63 active United States Colonial Marines, and we're gonna take that facility. And then we're gonna take that ship. And we're gonna get everything we can to take this company and Michael Weyland down for all the shit they've put us through and taken from us. Hoorah to ashes, O'Neill.
Hoorah, Captain.
For the Marines we lost, guys!